about it. I told you it always heats up. Remember a couple months ago, it felt like the market died, right? Funny how that works, huh? Just gonna slam the market. I would like to pull in. I'd be happy $750,000 between this second and year end. That's where I would like to be. See if I could get there. All right, we're good. We're live. We're live. Ladies and gentlemen, Apple reported. Yeah, we called it. See what else we called. The winners and the losers. No sugarcoating anything as we share with you Wall Street's number one free earning strategies. Facebook also reported. We're going to talk about that as well. Fortinet and ABBV are reporting. Where do I think those stocks are going to go? I'm going to go on the record and tell you I am Mark Melnick, and this is the Newsbeat Show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Newsbeat Show. I have so many great things to talk to you about today, including Apple earnings and Facebook earnings. Again, so many great things. We're going to fully fundamentally analyze them for you. By watching this show, you are pausing this video, reading everything back and forth and agreeing to it, holding me, Mark Melnick, NT3 Live, harmless and not responsible for anything portrayed on this video. Let's just get right into the action. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start off right here with Apple because you guys love disclaimers. You wish I spent another 30 seconds on that disclaimer. I could tell. I could totally tell. So Apple reported earnings tonight. Very interesting here. And again, before I go to Apple earnings, yes, we called it. We also called some trades that didn't work. How would you be doing if you followed all the trades that I put myself on the record on these shows? Again, you wouldn't have traded a million names, but you would be up $42,132. Look at the last names we called. Everything from T-Mobile, you would have lost with a $100,000 bet, considering you bought at the close, sold at the open, and look. I know I could add strategies where you have like 1 or 5 minute candlestick stops and your number would be like higher. I'm not here to try to show you, the most you can extract from these names. And there are strategies out there like this. Now you're all of a sudden depending on traders to be active managers of the trade. So to show you the true value and the unbiasedness of any of these, management strategies behind them, I'm literally just showing you a closing price and opening price. And I know some people told me that they're taking these and they're making a lot more money. Like one person, Electronic Arts, for example, closed at 96.72 and opened up at 96.72 the next day. And some people were like, okay, well, you're marking it as a zero mark, but I sold it after hours for 4 points. Somebody took 500 shares, said he sold it after hours and he made money on that. Again, that's you. I am just literally showing you closing price and opening price with my longer short bias. So with that being said, you would have lost on T-Mobile right over here, 13.95, just some recent trades. Would have lost 14.25 on Amgen, but look at this. You make 7,900 on GE. You make 6,700 on Garmin. You lose 4,600 on McKesson, but again, you could see the totals about $10,000 higher. And of course, on the last night's video, we gave you Acadia long, Apple long, Cree short, Lyft long, Celgene long, and Generic long, and depending on where they open up tomorrow, I'll be able to fill this in. But now I'm adding a couple more names to the list. You'll have to wait to see that because I want to analyze the Apple name that we did call long, up to 247.81 at the moment. It hit a aftermarket all-time high of $252.50. It never traded that high ever, even pre or post. So Apple definitely did definitely a solid job of trading, significantly higher after hours. And I definitely thought I would take you through there, but I definitely want to get to Let's just, I definitely want to get to Apple earnings here. Let's just get to the raw numbers. Let's see if I feel this should have been justified. Again, I was bullish in Apple. I did call it long. Honestly, percentage-wise, I mean, if you took a $100,000 bet, you're probably not going to make like that much money off a name like this if it opens up, right around here per se. They announced $3.03 a share. That was ahead of Wall Street's consensus estimate of 284, $64.04 billion they made this quarter. Again, it's almost mind-numbing to think there's a company out there making $64 billion in revenue in a quarter, let alone in their lifetimes. 62.99 billion is what Wall Street expected. So they basically beat by over $1 billion with what Wall Street expected, which is again kind of amazing. This is the key right here. Next quarter's revenue, 85.5 to 89.5 billion dollars. The center point of 85.5, 89.5 is obviously $87.5 billion versus the consensus of 86.92 billion. Okay, slightly ahead on the median range, not as sexy as I actually hoped for their Q1 revenue. Slightly, I don't want to use the word disappointed, but when you're talking about one of, if not the most valuable publicly traded companies out there, you want to see them, give a lot more oomph, especially when they're trading at all-time highs. Services revenue, very big deal for me, something I was very bullish on. When I was analyzing it last night for you, they announced $12.51 billion. That was ahead of the $10.6 billion expected. iPhone revenue always seems to go down, but this is going to change with their new 5G phone, which I'll talk a little about there. I'll talk a little about that through this analysis. They announced $33.36 billion in iPhone revenue. That that's a little less than the 36.76 billion last year. I hate to say it, but until this damn phone breaks, I am not replacing my iPhone. I don't care about a Retina display. I don't care if you have 7,326 cameras attached to it. I don't care if I talk to somebody on the phone and it's warning me that my breath stinks as I'm talking. For me, I think as most people, not everyone, there's some people who they connect their phone to everything. They can answer their doorbell from their phone. People do some crazy things out there. I don't want to replace my phone, and I love the product. So Apple's not exactly getting a lot of additional revenue off of me when I sit there and use a working phone. CEO Tim Cook is highlighting accelerating growth from services. That is something that I agree with what he's saying on. Phenomenal call. They said half of iPad purchasers were new to iPad, and they saw 5 times the iPhone trade-in volume versus last year, giving TV Plus to iPhone users as a gift. About 75% of Apple Watch buyers are new to Apple Watch. Trade tensions are less, looking more positive, of course, as looks like the US and China will sign phase one. Not only that, they opened up a new factory here in the US, so Apple sort of hedged their bet on this US China trade war. I cannot tell you how genius of what this company actually does. They saw key gaming approvals in China in Q4, expects better China reception as the trade tensions wane, paying some tariffs currently. The tone has changed significantly on tariffs. Forex clearly is a headwind for us right now, and that is always the thing that I bring up is you have to look at the US dollar Chinese yuan. And the higher this number goes, the more stressful it will be for the company. The lower this number goes, the less stressful it will be for the company. So this is a very, very important number. Just keep in mind that when Apple takes all these Chinese yuan, like you sell an iPhone, for example, or an iPad in China, you're not coming with like US dollars to buy it. The Chinese citizens are coming with the Chinese yuan, which means Apple has to take this Chinese dollar and convert it into US dollars. And as opposed to, handing in 6 of these Chinese dollars and getting a dollar back in US dollars, they have to now hand in 7 of these dollars to get that dollar back. And that's analogically what is hurting them here. And again, the higher this number is, the way more China is hurting. Very simply put. They say their third-party subscriptions grew 40% year over year. I think these Apple earnings are great. The only thing, so I almost want to talk about their next quarter's revenue, and they gave a range of 85.5 billion to 89.5 billion. Now, why is there such a range? There's two key things here. Number one is Christmas. So if you actually want to know how Apple's going to do next quarter, you need to see during late November, early December, when people in late November to mid December, right before Christmas, including day of and Christmas, you're going to want to see, if you're Apple, you're going to want to see this US dollar Chinese yuan drop. Now you might say, well, why? Because that is the point where a lot of these people in China, where their revenues are growing, that's when they're going to most likely be purchasing these products. Do not underestimate the amount of products even bought here and sent to China. A lot of the Apple products, people just take them on planes and they give them as gifts, whatever it is. You're going to want to see, if you're going to be like, if you think Apple's going to do the high end of revenue, you're going to need to see this Forex pairing drop, period. Because no matter how good the product it is, you might think like, what's the big difference if this Chinese yuan goes from like 7.04 to like, where it was in earlier in the year at like 670, like what's the big deal of like 35 cents? And not to just bring out the calculator, billions and billions of dollars is what we're talking about here. So this is a very serious thing. And the more Chinese economy inflates versus the US dollar, the more this chart goes higher, the worse it'll be for Apple. So let me give you an example. Like if I see like right now the U.S. Dollar Chinese yuan just start shooting up towards like 7.25, I'll be the first person to come out next earnings season on Apple and say, yeah, Apple revenue is going to be light. And I'm sure a lot of the analysts out there will be like, oh my God, like how did he know that? It's really not rocket science. You really need to focus on this chart, USD/CNH on free stock charts or TC2000 or any Forex, you know, system that you can use that will allow you to see this pairing. So Apple earnings looking good. Again, we called it long. It's not going to show big on the sheet. I have like a garbage amount of shares of it. I take the trades that you see on the sheet. I'm just more testing out this new strategy here. As again, the earning strategy that we're applying is, I think, going to be revolutionary for a lot of traders. We're combining the best fundamental analysis with the best technical analysis and combining it into one product. And it said to buy Apple, and Apple is obviously working at the moment. Facebook doing a lot better than Apple percentage wise and as well as dollar wise after hours. I want to talk a little about Facebook here. And you know, it's kind of interesting here because it almost seems like on Facebook that you have to almost manage the world. So what's happening on Facebook? Well, this morning they're suing Israel's NSO group in a federal court in California over a suspected WhatsApp attack. It's removing more coordinated, inauthentic behavior from Russia. They're announcing Facebook News, which is going to be, they said, welcome to hashtag social stocks. Interesting. So they're introducing all these new things to their platform as they're trying to grow and become more than just the biggest social media company on the planet. They reported earnings of $2.12. That was ahead of the $1.91 Wall Street expected. $17.65 billion was ahead of the consensus, $17.37 billion. DAUs, which are daily active users, is a very important metric to Facebook. It was up 9%, 1.62. Daily active users is up 9%, 1.62 billion. Monthly active users, or MAUs, are up 8% to 2.45 billion people. 2.45 billion people log into Facebook at least monthly. 1.62 billion people log in daily. So, you have the audience's attention. Let's put it that way. So if they really, take their marketing and whatever it is to the next level, they can obviously make yeah, boatloads of money. They estimate about around 2.2 billion people use family of services daily, and their family of services is Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or Messenger every single day, which is Facebook Messenger, of course, every day on average, and around 2.8 billion people use one of those programs at least once a month. Um, Mark Zuckerberg comes out and says payments is the area that he's most excited in. And this is kind of interesting because um, it sort of makes every payment stock a takeout target, in my opinion. Like, I will tell you right now, there is no reason why a company like Facebook shouldn't just buy out a silly company like Square. Square is hurting off the all-time highs, and I just really think it would just be a perfect fit here for the company. I mean, the synergies would be very simple. PayPal seems like they're just a little too big right now to just come in, swoop down, and take them over. But Square is hurting. Like Square, you don't have to offer a lot of money to buy out Square. It's a $26.5 billion company. I want to point out that Facebook paid like, what was it, 16 to 18 billion for WhatsApp. So, you're dealing with a $26.5 billion company here. You offer 35 to 40 billion dollars, which is very doable for Facebook. Again, just to give you a thought process before today's earnings, and Facebook is worth about 550 billion dollars to put things in perspective. If they wanted to grow down this area, they could just scoop a company that has already done it, that is already popular. They can easily expand it. They don't have to invest all the money and whatever. I think they should just start looking for a name to just simply take over. I know it sounds, the big fish gobbling the little fish mentality, but it really couldn't make more sense for the company than right now. So Mark Zuckerberg is most excited about payments, saying being able to send money as easily as sending a photo can open up more opportunities for businesses. Damn right it could. Says we'll work with regulators to address all the concerns before Libra can be launched. They want to launch a cryptocurrency here. And like I said, the irony of cryptocurrency is it's never really that safe. And you can argue, well, blockchain is one of the safest things right now. Sure, but you know what happens next year and one day from now? You know what's going to happen 366 days from today? We will have learned more technology and advancement in science in the next 366 days than we have for entire known human for the entire humanity. Our technological curve now goes vertical, the curve. It goes straight up. It goes up 100% a year. Every year, we double our knowledge, our science, our technology. I mean, think about it. Just think about it. I want to give you an example. In the late 90s, you had dumb phones, the non-smartphones, right? Now all of a sudden we're landing on Mars, sending pictures in, creating hypersonic missiles, developing nukes, satellites, landing here. Musk shooting cars into he shot a car into space, right? Think about that. I mean, 20 years is a blink of time. Think about how far we've come from 1999 till today. It's almost unimaginable where we are. And I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, 20 years from now, it's going to still feel like you're going to look at today and you're going to think that we were dinosaurs 20 years from now. The problem with Libra, the main problem with Libra is the blockchain is hackable. It is going to be more easily hackable a year from now than it will be today. The blockchain doesn't become more and more secure as time grows. Now, maybe they implement something where they blockchain a coin into a new blockchain, into a more secure blockchain, and they keep updating it. I don't want to go into the nerdiness of that right now. It could work, but they're working with regulators on Libra. I will tell you right now, until I see more details about it, it looks like a disaster that can make Facebook a $1.5 trillion company. Because if they get this Libra off the ground and they get this thing regulated, there's no reason why these shares, maybe they reverse split or not reverse split, maybe they do a stock split, but there's no reason these shares don't go up to $600 on Facebook. And yeah, you're talking to somebody who only uses Facebook to communicate with you guys. My only friends are like T3 Live and my wife. Those are my only two Facebook friends. So you're talking to that person who has, I have no feelings towards this company whatsoever. CFO says, the CFO says they're making significant investment in privacy and security. Now here is interesting. They lowered their fiscal year capital expense view to 16 to 17 billion from 17 to 19 billion. So they're going to be spending less money to get to where they need to go. Extremely bullish. Here is the issue with the earnings that I'm going to say right now. They expect Q4 revenue growth to continue to decelerate. And that's comments taken from the CFO on the Q3 earnings call. Earnings are going to continue to decelerate. That's scary. Now, let me tell you exactly what that means in English. They have no choice but to put out this Libra. They have no choice but to take over a payment system. Otherwise, the company is expletive ED at the end of expletive. They're Forded. They're Ford Motor Company. Duh. The problem with this is they're just going to be unable to keep up their revenues. I mean, straight from the horse's mouth. It's not my opinion, it's their opinion. And they have to get a payment system. Last week they needed a payment system. They have to get Libra out there immediately. And if you don't see a major money-making diversification coming out of Facebook, they're done for. That is what the company is saying. That is my translation of the company and what they're saying. You're one of the most valuable companies on the planet. $550 billion, maybe a little more where it opens up tomorrow, right? You're worth $550 billion. You're a social media app. And your revenues are decelerating? That doesn't sound good for one of the most valuable companies in the world. Your revenues are decelerating? Interesting way of putting things. Now, I think Facebook is smart enough to do this payment thing, and whether they want to buy Square or one of these other payment companies, maybe a non-publicly traded payment company, to me is inevitable. It's going to cost way too much money to develop it, way too much money for the technology, way too much money for the patents involved, the technology patents to develop this system. Maybe they want to pay it. But you want to know the easy solution? Take 35 to 45 billion dollars, go over to Square and say, "It was nice seeing the symbols SQ on the stock market. You're gone." Now, why would I think they wouldn't go to a PayPal and do that? Because PayPal's a $125 billion company. You can't do that with PayPal. And remember, I was making the great argument that Amazon should have bought over Whole Foods 6 months before it happens. We have videos, several of them, saying why it's a genius move for Amazon to buy over Whole Foods so they could compete with some of the grocers out there, as well as stores to, give out their whatever online products they sell. I am the same person who said that. No, I'm not right on 100% of my predictions. But if you're asking me if you want me to make a logical, smart scenario here, a logical base case scenario for what the company said, why wouldn't you buy Square? Why wouldn't you? You know how many headaches first of all, you'd have a huge customer base overnight. Snap, guess what? What percentage of people who use the Square app have a Facebook account? How many people would you guess? 99.9999999%? Now they'll be able to log in Facebook and do it. It's a no-brainer. It is such a no-brainer for Facebook to approach Square. So very bullish in that. Okay. You want to know about some of the names? I mean, you guys love some of the predictions that we were making, and for those people following, just phenomenal calls from the other day between GE long and Garmin long. We even traded GE today. I'm not even going to go into the intraday stuff we did, but you could see was very bullish on GE. Obviously, it was a very bold call, and they came out and they just crushed. They crushed what everything that Wall Street was thinking. I have two names that I'm watching on my list now for that are reporting between Thursday after the market or Friday pre-market. And we're going to start off with Fortinet. I know software companies have been getting zero love recently. You could look at like the Zoom video and I guess the Shopify is another software company getting absolutely no love. But this Fortinet, I humbly believe, ladies and gentlemen, will be different. I humbly believe that this one will be different. And I want to just go over it here with you. And I want to talk about their last earnings report and why I think they're going to be good. I think it's very bullish right now. I think the setup technically for me is very bullish, trading above all my moving averages, above Bollinger Band resistance, super bullish. Um, Now let's just go a little back in time to a day called August 1st, 2019, which was right over here. The stock closed at 79.02 and opened up at $88. Huge gap up. Why? Well, back on August 1st, they announced 58 cents a share versus the 50 cents Wall Street expected. 521.7 million versus the 511 million Wall Street expected. But check this out. For their next quarter, which is the one in which is reporting, was it tomorrow after the bell or Friday pre-market, whatever. For this earnings, they said they were going to make 55 to 57 cents a share. That's ahead of the 53 cents Wall Street consensus. They said that they're going to see revenue of 525 million to 540 million. That's ahead of the 523.85 million Wall Street expected. Not only that, they raised their full year 2019 earnings per share view $2.23 to $2.26 versus the Wall Street consensus of $2.14. And they see their full year 2019 revenue 2.10 to 2.12 billion dollars versus the 2.09 billion dollars. Not only that, I know it keeps going, it keeps getting better. The stock literally is trading underneath where it opened at $88 on that last earnings day. Going on the record, bullish on Fortinet. Have a very special offer for you guys too. I'll get to that very shortly, but first let's go into ABBV. Let's go into AbbVie right now. Now, you probably have seen AbbVie commercials a million times, Humira, and you'll see a woman who is just like phenomenally attractive, or a man who is phenomenally attractive for their age, and they're walking around happy, and they're dancing or painting or walking in a grass field with their children or grandchildren, and they're all smiles, and everybody is friends with them, and they could live life. You've seen those Humira commercials, and what the biologic drug commercials look like. But let's talk about AbbVie in their future. First of all, just so you know, AbbVie is a very beaten up name. The stock was trading at $125.86 on January of 2018. It has never really been able to retrace and reclaim those highs. Let's go ahead and talk about their earnings. Let's go ahead and talk about their earnings here for a second. So, hold on just one second. I'm just trying to, let me just pull up their earnings here really quick. Then we have something really cool to offer you. All right, so they reported on July 26 here, which was actually right over here. They reported this morning. So I mean, they gapped up $1.10 and shot up higher and then drifted lower and then drifted much higher. So it wasn't too big of an earnings pop last time. They announced $2.26 a share, back right over here versus the 221 expected. 8.25 billion in revenue versus 8.1 billion in revenue. But check this out. They raised their full year adjusted earnings per share view 882 to 892. Well, their previous estimates were 873 to 883. Wall Street thought 882, so their lowest end numbers, Wall Street consensus, their higher end numbers much higher, 882 to 892 consensus. They see for this quarter coming up, the report coming in right now. I think they report Friday morning, if I'm not mistaken, or Thursday after, whatever. 228 to 230 a share versus the 225 expected. They see Q3 revenue of 8.4 billion versus the consensus 8.29 billion, and this is for the report that's coming out in 2 days on Friday morning. So with that being said, very bullish technical setup, trading above algorithmic resistance lines, trading above moving averages, trading above my Bollinger Band supports and resistances, and it's just basically above everything right now. Very bullish in AbbVie. I like the fact that it's also been, beaten up in terms of like a 2 year type, year and a half type horizon, I guess a year and 10 months to be exact. It's sort of beaten up from those recent highs. So I will be on the record and come out bullish on AbbVie. Now, I know this sounds very cliche about what I'm about to tell you because it's never been offered before, and T3 has been raising the prices of my room every single year. However, there is a deal tonight for my services. I almost never share these promotions because they honestly don't really happen that often. But you can actually get every single one of my educational programs, the Newsbeat Bandit course, the Algo course, the Newsbeat Masterclass, 30 days of the Newsbeat Live Room for new members only. If you bought any of my courses before, you could reach out to your trading counselor or info@t3live.com. They will offer you a discount. If, for example, you bought my Algo course and you want to see if you can even get a better deal off of the $500 thing, you could go to t3live.com/mm. And not to, sound like whatever, because you always have people who will come in and sign up for this service like tomorrow morning or Friday or over the weekend. I would humbly say do not do that. Whatever you do, do not do that because um, t3live.com/mm, you only have till midnight tonight to sign up for this. It's normally, if you went through the website, you would have to pay $1,775. You'd have to pay $1,775 for this deal. You get an instant rebate. Again, this is T3's, number one selling course by far, bar none, the Algo Buster course. It allows you to, do cute things like, I don't know, call the dead bottom of the spiders today. Just for random example, call the dead top of Google today. I just realized my face froze. Let's go ahead and fix that. Okay. Call the dead bottom of names like the spiders. And again, just to show you, Spiders bottom 30214 right over there. You can see the support for the spiders. We gave you that, of course, yesterday. Check it out. Day low of the spiders 301.99, 15 cents off the dead low of the spiders. And there are other names as well in which we called, like the top of Amazon that I don't want to get into. But again, I highly encourage you, if you do want to take advantage price-wise of these products, again, including the number one selling course at T3. I think the Bandit course will be the next number one selling course at T3 because it's just, we get rave reviews upon all of it. Not only that, you get the Active Trader Summit replay. Okay, some value there as well. But you do get it for all this for just $500. The deal does end at midnight. We have a lot of people signing up from this for this right now. People are flooded. So I did speak to one of the sales counselors, the trading counselors, and they basically told me that if you email them, that you want to do the deal and you're whatever, you're not home, you're on the road, you're listening on the app, you can't sign up now for whatever reason, that they will honor it as long as you email them before 12 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, um, before this deal ends. Definitely take advantage of it. I can't tell you how much value it is. Through this course, we will actually show you how you could acclimate yourself to do things like this. To do things like this. Low accounts, small accounts. You could see the cost basis and the proceeds here. Up 75,000 for the month, and this is just the stuff heating up. I have several six-figure months. I could just short of guarantee you just short of it, that trading is going to even be more phenomenal next month than it is this month, and these numbers will increase. The market is hot right now for us, and we're taking advantage of these plays in a way in which no one else is. If you were a Newsbeat Live member, you would completely understand and see what's happening. Take advantage of what we offer. Take advantage, get acclimated. There's a link in the description to this as well. It's very simple, t3live.com, t3live.com/mm, and you can take advantage of that. I know I don't really offer any real promotions through here. It's like feels like every 100 videos, I'll share something like this. T3 wanted to put together a sale, and take advantage of it. It's definitely cheaper now than ever to be part of anything that we do here. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for making the T3 Live's Newsbeat room the number one largest, fastest growing trading room in the nation. Happy trading, make money. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning on the Newsbeat Live trading broadcast. Have a wonderful evening.